Okay, so let's graph a polynomial with our calculator. So we're going to try and graph y is equal to 3x cubed minus 27x. So I'm going to go up and go to where I put my graph in, y equals. So it's going to plug my equation in, 3x to the exponent of 3 minus 27x. Okay, and then I'm going to graph that on my standard window. So I'm going to go to zoom and then push number 6, or scroll down to number 6, push enter, and that's going to graph my equation on a standard window. And a standard window means that I've got 10 units in any direction from the origin. So plus 10 here, minus 10, plus 10, and minus 10. And that'll show up in our window. So x min, x max, minus 10, plus 10, and on and on. Okay, so once we've got our graphs, let's go back up to the graph. I'd like to see, I can see my zeros pretty clearly here. I can see a 0 here, looks like there's one here, looks like there's one here, but I don't really see my max and min values very well. So I'm going to zoom out. So go down to number 3, push zoom, and then go down to number 3 and push enter. And then you can see your cursor kind of flashing here. And I'm going to push enter again, and that's going to zoom out on me. Okay, so I kind of made it a little bit better here because I can at least see my max and min values, but it's kind of wasted space here and here for me. So I can go mess around with the window if I want to make that a little bit nicer, but I'm going to do something a little easier, I think, and I'm going to use my zoom box from the zoom menu. Okay, so when I go to use my zoom box, I basically just outline. So I'm going to take my cursor off of the origin there, and you see a little cross, and I'm going to outline what I want to see. So I want to see my max value here, but I want to kind of get rid of all this. So I'm going to start the top left-hand corner of my box up there. So I'm going to push enter, and now I'm going to drag my box over the piece of the graph that I want to see. Just use your arrows to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go down to the bottom of the minimum value there and push enter. And now I'm going to get a nice workable picture there. So before we find any numbers, we can already draw in what our shape looks like. So draw a nice little picture here. Okay, and it looks like I've got a point out here someplace, point over here someplace. Looks like this goes through 0, and I know my graph starts down here and then something like that. Okay, so the points that I want to find here are my zeros and my max and my min values. I'm just going to label them on the graph. So to do each of the zeros, I'm going to go ahead and go second, trace, and I'll tell the calculator to find me a 0. Okay, so go down to number 2 and 0. So we're going to look for this one right here. So I can see that this is at, looks like minus 1, 2, 3, looks like minus 4. So I want my cursor on a left bound. So it's like I'm going to set up my football posts around the point that I want to see. So my left bound is going to be anywhere out here. So I'm going to go to minus 4 for my left bound. Okay, because that was this spot. So that's to the left of my point, so that's okay. And now I'm going to drag my cursor a little bit to the right of that point. That'll set up my other goalpost. So now my goalposts are going to go around my point. So now I push enter, and that's going to give me my 0, which is minus 3. Okay, so I'm just going to label that on the x-axis. Right. Now I'm going to go look for this 0 here, which is kind of obvious, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to go second calc, 0 again. So you got to do it each time. You've got to go to second calc. It'll only do one point at a time. And I'm going to push enter, 1 to the left, enter, 1 to the right, and then enter one more time. And yeah, sure enough, that 0 or x-intercept is exactly at the origin, 0, 0. Okay, I'm going to do my last one here. So second calc again, We're looking for another 0. Okay, and now I'm going to move my cursor to the left of this point, enter, and one more to the right, somewhere out here, enter. So here's my point, my goalposts are around it, push enter, and my cursor lands at my point, which is at 3. So write that there. Looks pretty good. Okay, so let's go and find the max value now. Okay, so same menu, second calc, and I want to find where it's the highest. So I'm going to choose a maximum point. Okay, so number 4. And I want to find this maximum right here. So I'm going to put my cursor at -4, -1, 2, 3 would be okay. How about -2.5? Enter. So that sets up the one goalpost here. And it doesn't matter as long as it's to the left of the point I'm looking for. I'm looking for this point up here, so this point is to the left. Now I'm going to do one to the right. Push enter again, and that should find me my maximum point. So my cursor is on the very top point there. So this is at minus 1.732 for x. Okay, and the height right here is at 31.177. Okay, we'll round it to 3 places. Okay, so now I'm going to go and find the minimum point down here someplace. And I'm just going to make my window a little bit bigger there so I can see the minimum. So I'm going to go down here and I see that my y min is -34. I'm just going to make it -40. You don't have to do this, it just makes it a little easier to work with. And now I'm going to go and find my minimum value. So I push 3 this time, okay, and enter. And now my cursor is already to the left of the point that I want to go to, so I push enter. I whip it around. I want to find this point here, so I go to the right of that point, push enter again. My goalposts are set up, my point is in between them, so I push enter, and that'll give me this minimum. So this is at x is 1.732, and my y is at -31.177. Okay, so that's the calculator and finding zeros and max and min values.